My dad was in the Navy, and as a kid, I lived all over the world. I was born in Turkey. Lived a good portion of my childhood in Japan, Iceland, Maine, California, Washington, Millington. So I've seen the world. I've experienced different cultures, and I think that exposure has made me a better rounded person. I think that I really believe that everybody needs to experience another culture. I think exchange programs for kids are awesome because it makes them realize how lucky they are to have the freedoms and that we have here in America, which I think we're taking for granted. Okay, we're not going to go political now, I promise. But I think everybody needs to experience another culture. So I think it makes you more open-minded and more accepting of other people and more tolerant. Being military, it's hard to maintain close friendships. You make a lot of friends, but keeping a lot of friends, either they move away or you move away. But in a way, it helps you deal with people because you interact with people more. The change of scenery, so to speak, and living in different areas, you adapt. As far as my experience in the baking field, I started off about 25 years ago. I worked in a grocery store and I was kind of interested in the comings and goings of the bakery, and asked somebody if they could kind of show me the cake decorating portion. So I got back there and kind of dabbled in it some, and then went to work at another grocery store in the bakery department, and discovered I really liked the cake decorating. I did all the other operations of the bakery deli, the baking, steam table, but I had some really good instructors, little other bakers that really taught me the basics of cake decorating, and then I kind of took off with it from there. I became a single parent and went to work full-time at a hospital, and even though I was working full-time, I did maintain part-time jobs working in bakeries as a cake decorator, just kind of keep my skills up, and really enjoyed it. I worked for Baskin-Robbins, and that was very interesting because you talk about ice cream cake. Not only did I have to decorate them, I had to assemble them. And they have these neat little gadgets that you can assemble them with. Well, cut the cake and then you have to assemble them. Then you put them in the freezer, and then they have a special decorating ice cream. And you have to work with it fast. I learned a few little tricks as far as decorating because I had to do the case. I had to work with the display case. So I learned to do my roses. I would stick a little piece of wax paper on a nail, do my roses, put them in the freezer, And then I could create like an assembly line. I, you know, ice my cakes, put them in the freezer. And then when I had to do a quick cake, I would take them out of the freezer and just stick them on, throw a border on, or decorate it however I needed to decorate it. And voila! So I learned a few neat little tricks working there. As far as my cooking experience, I'm not a big baker. I didn't really start finding recipes for cakes or doing baking per se until I started getting cake requests. When I moved here, I had a coworker ask me, you know, if I knew how to decorate a cake. Like, sure, you know, I worked in grocery stores. So that was basically the only kind of cake I knew how to do. And I had somebody ask me if I could do like a purse. So I was like, purse, fondant. I had not really worked with fondant, so I was a little intimidated by it at the time. And I thought, well, sure, you know, that was a challenge to me, because, you know, I'm all about challenges. You know, don't tell me I can't do something, because I will do everything in my power to prove to you that I can do it. So I don't know if that's a control issue or not, but that was how I started doing cakes here. Somebody saw the cake, they loved it. I found a good, well, I was doing cake mixes at the time. And then I figured out the cake mixes do not stand up very well to fondant. Especially my fondant. I learned how to make my own fondant. YouTube is a plethora of information, and actually some of the techniques that I do, some of the recipes that I use, some of the fondant work, I learned off of YouTube. Go figure. I am going to do this together. Yes, I'm using a boxed cake mix. This is for time purpose only. And I haven't really found a good pound cake, butter recipe cake as of yet. So I use a boxed cake mix. And thank you for answering the phone. Since this is going to be a simple cake, I don't have to worry about it standing up to fondant. There's my margarine here. And occasionally I do use a boxed cake mix. But like I said, only because of time constraint right now. Talking about pressure, stress. When I got the emails saying that they wanted this video done in a certain length of time and we're coming on the deadline, I'm like, what am I going to do? So here I am making a cake for you guys, showing off my skills. Poor like Pharaoh. I actually, one of my worst, I don't know if they're one of my worst qualities, but one of my bad qualities is I procrastinate. Sometimes I don't do it on purpose. Maybe I just do work better under stress. And that might kind of come in handy for some of the challenges. But like I said earlier, I'm always up for a challenge.